Good morning again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the disclaimers, and just a little peek into my brain here. I know, terrifying, right? Run away, or fast forward. You may wonder, with me reading documents like this one here, just full of complete stupidity, bad faith arguments, lies, very provable ones, and no receipts. What it's kind of like after doing these videos, right? How can one even begin to process reading, let alone processing all the stupid, right? It's difficult, folks. It's difficult. Reading things like this from individuals who are supposed to be highly educated, it doesn't speak very well of humanity, does it? It really doesn't, no. And then you see the stupidity on Twitter day after day on top of it. You know, I actually miss the world from when I didn't know exactly every single person's thoughts on every given subject unless I asked. You know, you remember those days where you were blissfully ignorant of all the just out and out fucking stupidity and the gullibility of the masses? Remember those days? You could just go out and live your fucking life and just not give two flying fucks about what anybody thought of it? No, we now live in the social media age where anyone can record you at any fucking time and then spread it all over the world within seconds. You're not allowed to have opinions without the world agreeing with you. You're not allowed to have critical thought, because that means you're not just blindly following what new agenda one side or the other is pushing this week. So how does one deal with and decompress from all the stupid coming in day after day on multiple fronts, particularly if you're dealing with an autistic brain that has this horrible, horrible thing of where we will get stuck in circular thinking? It's very simple. You gotta have your detoxifiers in life, folks. When you have this, and then you have the AH stands and their fucking stupidity, their hostile stupidity, I might add. The hostile stupidity, ignorance, and danger that comes from having to deal with anti-vaxxers on a semi-regular. And when you're also a call center jockey on top of it, where you just deal with insistent fucking Karens because you can't go and do and perform the impossible, you gotta have some detoxifiers, right? Right? Of course you do. So how does one detox from that large pile of shit that is basically this world's stupidity? I like my mindless endeavors. For example, I finally caved in after years and years and years and years of watching my mom play it, and I finally downloaded Candy Crush. I am awesome at it, by the way. Let's see here. I crochet. I draw. In fact, hold on. Because my drawings take months, sometimes even years. I'm going to show you why. 1 second, folks. Okay. So I've been working on this one here for about, 3 years now. It's still mostly not done. I know you can kind of barely see it, but I do these very, very intricate kind of shapes within shapes sort of thing. Tiny, tiny little details, right? Yeah, I've done it for years. It started about around when I was in high school. And yeah, it was high school in the 90s. There was a lot of fucking stupid. Not as much as today, but there was a lot of stupid. This is mine. Let's see here. What else does Tiffany get up to get rid of the stupid? Well, let's take a tour. Am I? Because this is pretty new. This here is my TV. Just got it. This is my TV. On it, we watch Foamy. We watch Stevie. We watch Les. We watch Tug. We watch everybody because it's a Roku TV. And then here, the Wii. The Wii, folks. And the game I most often play. This one. It's called Donkapon Kingdom. I play that religiously. And, of course, my bad crocheting. Hold on a second. One second, folks. Bad crocheting. I've been working on this for about 6 years. And it's still not done and still barely past its beginnings. This is how little free time I have in my life. Makes me wonder about those AH stamps. What the fuck that they are doing that they have so much time. Ugh. Because I don't have any. But yeah, I've been working on this for a good long minute. Basically, the few times I get to have like a movie marathon, this will be across my lap, my cat watching it religiously, hoping mommy will throw a piece of yarn at him. And lastly, but not least, this has been my runaway from stupid since God. Probably as soon as I was able to read. My books. Got a few of them here. We even got Plato's Republic, the Bhagavad Gita, the Silmarillion, the Consolation of Philosophy. It's a few Star Trek books that I've never read, because those are Paul's. Oh, yes. And the Tao Te Ching. That was actually an awesome find at Barnes & Noble. We have one right out the corner, right on the other side of our mall. I kind of wanted to do something kind of different and kind of tell you, this is how one detoxifies. But they're a call center jockey, but they also do this and mentoring and all the other things on the side. How one detoxifies from stupid. I would recommend that you find your own way. But this is the one that's most important, folks. This one gets me through the day. This one helped me beat alcoholism. Kava. Kava tea. Number one. Because I can drink this while I'm on the phones, right? This stuff is a lifesaver, folks. Alright. Now to the disclaimers and to the video, right? In the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by Neuroclastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they've threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Neuroclastic has refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have a link to Neuroclastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. Excuse me. We also have linked in there the Ozarks first article in regards to Agape Boarding School, now known as Stone for Help Boarding School. This is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all of which have been substantiated by the hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: rape, sodomy, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation. That's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises, also on multiple, again substantiated by hard evidence, claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too obsessed with drag queens to protect the kids out here from the real pedophiles. And you got a governor who I don't even know what to think of our damn governor at this point. We have a legislator who are too obsessed with women's bare arms to give a shit about the kids here. So send help. Send fucking help. This is hillbilly hell. I did not sign up for this shit. It was a mere accident of birth. Anyway, share that article on all your social media. We also have included all the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, a link to Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, and the ever-present self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use those headphones, alright? This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 or younger and they are watching this, parental supervision, folks. It should go without saying, alright? Okay. Trigger warning, we are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, pseudoscience, lie after motherfucking lie. Enough ableism and bigotry to circle a globe a few thousand times, all coming from an individual with a massive God complex. So, just be prepared for the stupid, alright? And before we descend down, I see you notice that once again that Dr. Matthew Israel is again thinking he's a 16-year-old girl. What we have noticed throughout this document is he likes to put things in bold as his way of yelling at us and always comes off sounding like an unillogical, ill-informed teenager. I guess we're going to see more of that. Okay? Alright, let's go to where we left off. Because of the author's strong philosophical opposition to aversives, again, doctor, you don't know what philosophical means if you think that it's a philosophical objection. Allow me to educate you, doctor. Speaking of my books, do you know what philosophy is, doctor? Allow me to introduce you. Because this is one of the most well-known books that you can find out there on the subject that dates to antiquity, right? I don't know if you can see it well on this camera, but this is Boethius's The Consolation of Philosophy. Okay? Philosophy is a way of life. A code of conduct in some aspects, ways of viewing the world and others. There's a lot of it that it encompasses. But what it has nothing to do with is this. It's not a philosophical objection when the conclusion to stand against you, doctor, comes from mountains of evidence. That's not philosophical, it's very literal. When you have camera footage of a young man being tortured, screaming, and begging for his life, that's not a philosophical objection. When you've got ER documents that go into detail about just what you get up to in that place, that's not philosophical. Them's facts. Again, I'll raise you. When it is based off of, oh my gosh, so many DESI reports. Again, not philosophical. Again, DESI reports, footage. That's not philosophical, doctor. It's not a state of mind. It's not a mode of being. It is a conclusion formed by examining the facts, the evidence, and the testimonies at hand. It's not a philosophy. What they refer to an investigation was not an investigation. Doctor, the only reason you say it's not an investigation is because it doesn't agree with you. Which falls in line with the rest of the way the world's been going these days, right? There's a reason why I'm team comment please hit the fucking earth and end this team. Okay? And it's this shit right here. When they can only laud you as smart, intelligent, even stunning and brave, if you agree with them. If, however, you conduct an investigation in which you use such things as evidence, facts, critical thought, logic, and analytical thinking, and it doesn't agree with them, well then it's not a real investigation. Matter of fact, doctor, the MDRI did a far better investigation of you. Yes, including the documents you've had written in your favor, I might add. He won't tell you that, but I will. Than any of the current fucking media is shilling their shit right now. The MDRI came forth with receipts, doctor. That's not a philosophy. That's not just, you're just against subversives no matter what. No, doctor. Shut up. We have known for decades, literal fucking decades, that torture does not work. Okay? This is not a philosophical position. This is a position that has been informed by evidence and facts at hand. A tortured person will only do exactly what you want them to do within the given time that they are still under fucking threat. The minute the threat is removed, they are going to revert to where they were previously and may actually become worse than they ever were before, because now they have psychological trauma to inform the rest of those behaviors that were never dealt with. This is not a philosophical position. This is a position that has been built off of facts. Okay? You don't get to change the meaning of words because they don't agree with you. And I'm going to say that for all those in the back, for those narcissistic fuckers out there like this and AH. It doesn't cease to be a fact because it doesn't agree with you. It's still a fact. And they don't change according to feelings. This started the judgment that aversive therapy is torture, and then sought whatever evidence they could find, no matter how unproven, misleading, or anonymous it might be. Doctor, shut up. Why'd you try to destroy the evidence, doctor? You want want to talk, let's talk. If we're so unproven, if we're just so biased, if we just, well, we're autistic and we just don't know what's good for us, we should take our shots and shut our mouths like good little disabled people and never go outside where we might offend the normies. Why did you order the evidence destroyed, doctor? That is not the actions of an innocent man on the edge of medical discovery. That is an actions of a man who's guilty of sin for what he's accused of. Because you would not need to destroy any of your evidence if you had the courage of your convictions here. You do not. Okay? You do not. I don't need to go through the mountains of evidence that we have on this channel to know what's going on in that Andre McCollins video. Because it's very fucking obvious to everyone. Andre was no threat to anyone. He was not making threats, and he was not acting in an aggressive manner towards anyone. All he wanted to do was leave his coat on. It wasn't affecting the teacher from doing their lesson. It wasn't affecting the kids around him. What did affect them was your interruptions because of it. The fact that you decided he deserved to be tortured for hours because he refused to remove his coat. These are not the actions of a sane man, doctor. Okay? And this is why you are considered a joke within your profession. Because you keep trying to tell people that they're very carefully crafted, basically, that all of us who viewed the evidence, who spent hours, days, years staring at the evidence, that what we're saying is not true. It's misguided, it's misleading, it's lying. Let's break it down, shall we? What is this, what he calls evidence? It's a 7-hour video of Andre McCollins being tortured. It starts because he doesn't want to remove his coat. It continues that due to being shocked directly on the skin, right above his muscles, those muscles, as when most muscles get hit with electricity, tensed. The doctor says you are supposed to take that as a sign of aggression and hit him again. When he would scream out in pain, well, according to the doctor, that's not pain, that's aggression. Shock him again. When he begins to beg you to stop and cry and beg for mercy in his life, shock him again. All of this is very seeable on that video, doctor. That is evidence of a school who feels like they have no accountability to anyone and can torture whoever they want to, and as long as they label it treatment, should be able to still do so legally, no matter how fucking horrifying it is. As part of that evidence. What's the other part of that evidence? All the court documents that led to you being banned from the state of California. The incidents that involved tying these kids to trees and leaving them standing up for hours, where they were to piss and shit themselves and get no water, no food, no fucking nothing. Or they'd be tied in various places in the basement. Same thing. Where you would constrain them to their beds, not with even confirmed medical ties that they were using at the time, but things such as belts and handcuffs placed down on their mattresses with a helmet over their head, which is how one student died of asphyxiation. You know, those documents. We also have the documents from fucking Rhode Island. You when they banned your ass from there too. We got those. What is this other evidence, you might ask? It's also about the 6 deaths of the kids that he fucking murdered. Yeah, that. Including the one that somehow, due to the fact of the corruption of the Massachusetts courts and legislator, and the fact that, well, Dr. Matthew Israel has been making millions of dollars off of our backs for decades, he was able to get his 1986 decree that he has held over the Massachusetts DDS for fucking decades. That kind of evidence. The other evidence the MDRI considered. The mountains upon mountains of DESI reports, some of which we have included on this channel, including one where one of their staff got involved sexually with one of the students there. On surveillance tape, doctor. That's not made up evidence. That is literal evidence. But it's unproven or misleading or anonymous. It doesn't get more proven than when it's on fucking camera, you jackass. Okay? But you're misleading the public about what's happening in that video. No, we're not. The only thing that we in the MDRI did with that Andre McCollins video that came out in 2012 was demanded that it be seen by the public. We did not try to influence or even create any kind of context for what was that video. Just the video by itself, unaided, no one's agenda, no one's bullshit story, nothing. Just see the footage for yourself. You all know Paul. Paul's schizotypal. Not long after we met, I showed him that video of Andre McCollins. If there's an individual who really doesn't give a fuck about your feelings, that's Paul. Well, and his twin sister, but that's besides the point. When Paul watched that video, how obvious was it what they were doing in that video to Andre McCollins to you, Paul, when you first saw it?
Pretty goddamn obvious. That was just flat out torture.
Was there any wording? Did we in any way try to give you any context to manipulate you into believing one way or the other?
Doesn't have to be. The video speaks for itself.
My point. That's not misleading. That's not anonymous. Let's talk about these anonymous individuals. They're not actually anonymous. It's Andre McCollins. It's Jennifer Masumba. It's Tori. It's all the fucking others who've been slowly coming out since this all took place. Okay? Nobody's misleading anyone but you, doctor. You can't argue your way out when we've got the tapes. We're going to go ahead and close on that. Don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'm going to drink a lot of kava tea and try to detox from all the stupid we just read. Bye-bye, everyone.